Mysticism is Love, under Evelyn Underhill. Mysticism. The characteristics of mysticism, in which this category is number 3. The business and method of mysticism is love. Page 43. Love to the mystic, then, is the active conative expression of his will and desire for the absolute, b. his inane tendency to that absolute, his spiritual weight. He is only thoroughly naturally alive when he is obeying its voice. For him it is the source of joy, the secret of the universe, the vivifying principle of things, in the words of Recejac. Who is he? Yes, the question, who is he? Mysticism claims to be able to know the unknowable without any help from dialectics, and believes that by the way of love and will it reaches a point to which thought alone is unable to attain. Again, it is the heart and never the reason which leads us to the absolute. Hence, in St. Catherine of Siena's exquisite allegory, it is the feet of the soul's affection which brings it first to the bridge. Quote, for the feet carry the body as affection carries the soul. The jewels of mystical literature glow with this intimate and impassionate love of the absolute, which transcends the dogmatic language in which it is clothed, becomes applicable to mystics of every race and creed. There is little difference in this between the extremes of Eastern and Western thought, between a Kempis, the Christian, and Jalaluddin, the Muslim saint. Quote, how great a thing is love, great above all other things, for alone it makes all that is heavy light, and bears evenly all that is uneven. Love would be aloof, nor will it be kept back by any lower thing. Love would be free and estranged from all worldly affection, that its inward sight not be hindered, that it may not be entangled by any temporal comfort, nor succumb to any tribulation. Quote, naught is sweeter than love, naught stronger, not higher, not wider. There is no more joyous, fuller, better thing in heaven or earth. For love is born of God and cannot rest save in God above all created things. The lover flies, runs, and rejoices. He is free and cannot be restrained. He gives all, and for all in all. For he rests in one supreme, above all, from whom all good flows and proceeds. Quote, he looks not at the gift, but above all goods turns himself to the giver. He who loves knows the cry of this voice, for this burning affection of the soul is a loud cry in the ears of God, when it saith, my God, my love, thou art all mine, I am all thine. So much for the Christian, now for the Persian mystic. Persian says, while the thought of the beloved fills our hearts, all our work is to do him service and spend life for him. Wherever he kindles his destructive torch, myriads of lovers' souls are burnt therewith. The lovers who dwell within the sanctuary are moths burnt with the touch of the beloved's face. O heart, Hasten thither, for God will shine upon you, and seem to you a sweet garden instead of a terror. He will infuse into your soul a new soul, so as to fill you like a goblet with wine. Take up your abode in his soul. Take up your abode in heaven, O bright full moon. Like the heavenly scribe, he will open your heart's book, that he may reveal mysteries unto you. Well might Hilton say, Still can't figure out this Hilton guy. Is that Walter Hilton? Say that the perfect love maketh God and the soul to be as if they both together were but one thing. And Taylor, that the well of life is love, and he who dwelleth not in love is dead. Goodness. These, nevertheless, are objective and didactic utterances, though their substance may be, probably is personal. Their form is not, but if we want to see what it really means to be in love with the Absolute, how intensely actual to the mystic is the object of his passion, how far removed from the spheres of pious duty or philosophical speculation, how concrete, positive, and dominant such a passion may be, we must study the literature of autobiography, not that of poetry or exaltation. I choose for this purpose, rather than the well-known self-analysis of St. Augustine, St. Teresa, or Suso, which are accessible to everyone, the more private confessions of that remarkable mystic. Goodness. You're not familiar with Dame Gertrude Moore. I thought we knew everything, but we don't know. Dame Gertrude Moore. We've heard this one. Suso. Contained in her spiritual exercises. So could be interesting. Dame Gertrude Moore. This nun, great-great-granddaughter of Sir Thomas More, and favorite pupil of the celebrated Benedictine contemplative, the Van Augustine Baker, exhibits the romantic and personal side of mysticism more perfectly than even St. Teresa, whose works are composed for her daughter's edification. She was an eager student of St. Augustine, my dearest, dear saint, as she calls him more than once. She had evidently influenced her language. He had evidently influenced her language, but her passion is her own. Remember that Gertrude Moore's confessions represented the most secret conversations of her soul with God. They were not meant for publication, but written for the most part on blank leaves in her breviary, were discovered and published. After her death, she called them, says the title page with touching simplicity, Amor ordinarium niscet an idiots devotions. Her only spiritual father and director, Father Baker, styled them Confessions a Montes, a lover's confessions. Amas Dio, amai tu Dio dispetita universe, a soul that loved God, despite this all things that be inferior unto God. The spirit of her little book is summed up into epigrams of which her contemporary Krasha might have been proud to give all, for love is the most sweet bargain. Oh, let me love or not live. Love indeed was her wife, and she writes of it with a rapture which recalls at one moment the exuberant poetry of goodness. Jacopene da Todi. At another, the love songs of the Elizabethan poets. Quote, never was there or can be imagined such a love as is between an humble soul and thee. Who can express what passes between such a soul and thee? Verily, neither man nor angel is able to do it sufficiently. In thy prayers I am only happy, in which my joy I will exult with all thy love thee. For what can be a comfort while I live separated from thee, but only to remember that my God, who is more mine than I am my own, is absolutely and infinitely happy. Out of this true love between a soul and thee, there arises such a knowledge in the soul that it loathest all that is an impediment for the proceeding in the love of thee. O love, even by naming thee, my soul loseth itself in thee. Nothing can satiate a reasonable soul, but only those only thou, and having of thee, thou who art indeed all, nothing can be said to be wanting to her. Blessed are the cleans of heart, for they shall see God. O sight be wished, desired, and longed for. Because once to have seen thee is to have learnt all things. Nothing can bring us to this sight but love. But when love must it be? Not a sensible love, only a childish love, a love which seeketh itself more than the beloved. No, it must be an ardent love, a pure love, a courageous love, a love of charity, a humble love, and a constant love, not worn out with labors, not taunted with any difficulties, for that soul that hath set her whole love and desire on thee can never find any true satisfaction but only in thee. We'll stop there. We're still reading about mysticism as love in the characteristics of mysticism. Who was that woman? Dame Gertrude Moore? Interesting.